We'll next be hearing of the Recidivist Alcohol Probationer Program, Nassau County, New York, Salvatore Fazio and Janice Collins.
Thank you.
Mr. Fazio.
The Recidivist Alcohol Probationer Program addresses a problem of national importance, the recidivist DWI offender. Between the years 1982 and 1993, the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration tells us that throughout the United States, 266,000 people died in alcohol-related car crashes. The DWI problem is of enormous cost in terms of money spent, almost $44 billion in 1993 alone. Of far greater significance is the loss of life, destruction of families, and the attendant grief and heartache that results. DWI is the largest crime category in New York State, and it's also the largest in our county. The probation department supervises 3,400 DWI offenders, of which the vast majority, over 80%, are recidivists. An examination of our DWI population and its large percentage of recidivists fueled an imperative to stop doing business as usual. We believed that it was necessary to create a change in the perception of those working within the criminal justice system regarding the needs of these offenders. The district attorney, the judiciary, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, treatment community, the public, and those working within our own agency were asked to cooperate in the creation of a new program to help interrupt the cycle of recidivism, a program that would improve both the providing of service and also the safety of the community. We searched for an innovative format utilizing the various elements already in existence within our system. What we created is something that had never been used anywhere in quite the same way. The combination of brief incarceration, electronic home detention, victim impact panels, breath testing, and surveillance, in conjunction with a comprehensive treatment response, represents an innovational approach to a very real and dangerous problem.
The DWI RAP unit targets the hardcore recidivist DWI offender. The priority of cases selected is felony-convicted recidivist misdemeanor offenders and probation violators from regular supervision units. Cases are identified during the pre-sentence stage and are designated as appropriate candidates for RAP supervision. Categorically eligible cases are screened after sentence by the RAP supervisor. Acceptance is based on availability. DWI offenders who violate terms of regular probation are screened and may be recommended for restoration to probation with RAP conditions. At any given time, there may be between 300 and 400 cases in the unit, 2/3 of which are felony cases. The primary goal of RAP is to provide community protection. During 1991 through 92, over 11,000 drivers were arrested in Nassau County for DWI offenses. 2,100 of these arrests followed accidents which resulted in over 1,400 injuries and 71 fatalities. During RAP's last 2 years of operation, 93 and 94, DWI fatalities in the county have decreased by 35%, and none of the more than 900 probationers who have gone through our program have been involved. The reduction of recidivism is another primary objective of this program. DWI offenders reoffend at a rate of 30 to 40% statewide. This jeopardizes public safety and puts a strain on all facets of the criminal justice system. RAP's DWI reoffense rate is 1.2%, as opposed to 12.75% for line supervision units. Closely related to the reduction of recidivism is rehabilitation of the offender through mandated treatment. During the probation term, lasting behavioral change must be effected, so the probationer will not drink and drive. The probationer must acknowledge, understand, and deal with alcoholism, or the threat will continue. The offering of treatment and education to the offender's significant others is also a goal. Ongoing contact with spouses and family members provides the RAP staff an opportunity to assess education and treatment needs in the household. Family members are provided with referrals and are encouraged to participate in the offender's treatment. The overwhelming benefits produced for RAP probationers have been the resulting lifestyle changes obtained by establishing behavior parameters for this population. Improved attendance at school or work, more satisfying interpersonal relations, and improved self-esteem all go towards achieving a better quality of life for probationers and their families. Because RAP utilizes common elements uniquely combined, it can be easily replicated. Split sentences, alcohol treatment programs in jails, electronic monitoring, constant use of alka-sensors, intensive supervision, urine testing, surveillances, victim impact panels, and accountable treatment programs are all readily available. RAP takes these components and adds sweeps, stings, ignition interlock, and a close working relationship with the component law enforcement agencies in the community to create its success. In addition to assisting other localities in replicating RAP in its present form, we envision utilizing the design for other high-risk groups in our jurisdiction.
Good. Thank you. First question from Dick.
Could you elaborate a little on the surveillance methods used?
We have two vehicles that are...
Would you speak right into the microphone, please?
We have two vehicles that are equipped with surveillance cameras, which were provided to us by MAD. And we do off-hour surveillances, early morning, late night, on our probationers, whom we suspect are driving without a license.
I'd like to add something about the surveillance piece. As a clinician, I'm acutely aware of privacy and confidentiality, and this surveillance piece does away with some of that. So when we began the program, I met with the Bar Association, the local Bar Association, and also the Legal Aid Society, and they had no objection to the surveillance. Also, we have the probationers sign a release which allows such surveillance. They're aware that that's going to happen. Still, there are concerns that we have with this surveillance issue, but you have to realize these are people who are 2-, 3-, and 4-time offenders. They've gone through traditional probation environment, they've gone through regular treatment, and it hasn't worked. They've been arrested and convicted again. The next stop after this program is upstate long-term prison time. So the surveillance, we feel, is a necessary component, and if it prevents that long-term prison time for these people, we feel it's worthy.
Two pending questions, three now. Max, David, and Tom. And Jack. Four questions.
On the question
if
of
the responses can be relatively brief as well as the questions, I'd appreciate it.
On the question of replicability, this is an expensive program. It's labor intensive. If I were looking at doing it, how would you tell me that I could do it with those two major concerns?
This program doesn't cost the county any money. This program is paid for by DWI offender fines. So fine monies are paying for the program itself. So replicability would be dependent upon your jurisdiction utilizing fine monies for that purpose.
And labor?
Labor is part of the probation budget. That part of that issue comes from probation. Part of that issue also comes from the fine monies. So we have a combination of expenditures.
David?
Yeah. Am I correct in believing that similar monitoring programs and bracelets are in use in other jurisdictions and other states with regard to criminals and parolees?
Yes, the technology isn't new. It's being utilized in other jurisdictions throughout the state.
Would you see an application of this then to drug offenders?
Yes, we certainly do. And also with sex offenders that are placed on probation.
Three questions, three brief answers from Tom, Jack, and Luis.
With respect to, you said that in some cases the alternative to surveillance and also I assume to probation would be time upstate New York. So have there been additional probation expenditures that you've had to make as a result of this?
Not much. The program really seems to be of an economic issue, and it seems to work very well, and the expenditures we've made by juggling caseloads and personnel seems minimal at this point.
But you have more recidivists who have to fall under probation.
Yes, we do.
Jack?
How does your program compare with DWI programs elsewhere?
This is the only DWI program of its type, so it's difficult to make a comparison. In the other counties in New York State where they have simply a surveillance piece or simply a treatment piece, their recidivism rates are much higher than ours.
Luis?
Can you describe the surveillance system with regard to the concern for privacy?
Well, the system that we use for surveillance involves using a surveillance camera within a vehicle that is near the offender's home. We want to see if this offender is driving. DWI is the issue. DWI recidivism is also the issue, and that's why we have to do our surveillance issue. Privacy is sacrificed to some extent for that offender.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.